Welcome you all to the Danville City Commission regular meeting. Today is Monday, October the 28th, 2024, and its time is 5:35. We have lots of city staff that is not with us this afternoon for several different reasons, and we'll probably talk about those later on as the meeting progresses, because we promised to talk about all of them. We have some special guests with us this afternoon, and the first one, I'd like to call on him and ask him if he would come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. He is once again celebrating his 39th birthday. Mr. Steve Klein, would you come forward, please? You didn't think we knew, did you?
I knew I should have probably stayed home. Oh, yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In place of our prayer tonight, we're going to ask you all to do a moment of silence to us, and this moment of silence should be in recognition and concern about our upcoming November the 5th, 2024 elections. Let's pray and let's be very silent and sincere about a very successful election season next month, or this month, really, and next month. So bow with me, please. Thank you. Next on our printed agenda is we have approval of the agenda. And so, Commissioners, I would like to ask you for a motion to approve the agenda as amended. And I'm going to remove from the agenda tonight item number 16 and item number 17. They'll be removed because we're putting those forward for the next 2 weeks because of our city engineer, Mr. Josh Morgan, is under the weather. So a motion to approve the agenda with those 2 items being removed.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 So our agenda is approved. Ms. Holland came off the bench later today, so she's missed some of the pre-planning events that took place before the meeting, but she did put a uniform on before she arrived at the meeting, so that's great. Okay, the next item on our agenda is that we're going to take some time to hear from the public. Thank you all for your attendance, and if you desire to speak to the commission at this time, it's about items that are on our agenda only at this point. You raise your hand, be recognized. You can take up to 3 minutes, and we'll listen to you talk to us about items that are on the agenda. There is another section later on, young lady, that's to speak to us about items that are not on the agenda. Okay, we'll try to get to that as soon as we can. Okay. Anyone to speak to the commission about things that are on the agenda tonight? Hearing none, then we'll move right along then. So next item is the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our last meetings. Is there a motion to approve our?
I'll move for approval of the minutes of the, excuse me, 10/14 and 10/21, 2024 meeting, excuse me.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Any additions, deletions, or? Hearing none, the chair calls for the question. All those in favor of approving our minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. The next item is a proclamation in honor of the Extra Mile Day. Proclamation. Does anyone have that proclamation? Is it in our minutes? Oh, there it is, okay.
Yep, we have it.
We have it. So proclamation for Extra Mile Day. Whereas Danville, Kentucky is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Danville, Kentucky is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas Danville, Kentucky is a community which chooses to shine a light and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas Danville, Kentucky acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 500 extra mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November the 1st, 2024. Now for the mayor and the board of commissioners of the city of Danville, Kentucky to hereby proclaim November the 1st, 2024 to be Extra Mile Day and urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile and here's her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, and world a better place. So proclamation for Extra Mile Day, is there a motion from the commission?
I'll move to approve the proclamation.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. And before we cast a vote, I want to just call to the community's attention that you see the 5 city commissioners up here with our team uniforms on today. And we're celebrating ourselves as being individuals in this community who also go the extra mile. These are the purple and gold uniforms we're wearing in honor of the original Bate School, K through 12, founded by Professor John W. Bate, in which he was the principal and served Bate Middle School for 55 years. So he definitely went the extra mile in our community, and we salute him and the history of that school today as we celebrate Extra Mile Day. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this proclamation say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, proclamation carries. Thank you all. And thank you for wearing these outstanding football jerseys today in honor of Extra Mile Day and in honor of Bate School. The next item is Resolution 2024-10-2801, Alum Springs Convenience Center Property Line Agreement. And I have a Mr. Richard Murphy who's going to, oh, here he is. Thank you, sir, for your
Hello.
attendance.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of you know me, but in case you don't, my name's Rich Murphy. I'm the county surveyor here. So a lot of people didn't know we had a county surveyor, but we haven't for a long time, but we do now. I wanted to talk about the Alum Springs Convenience Center on Alum Springs Road. I was contracted by the fiscal court to do a boundary survey, a boundary retracement survey of that property. The property is 50% owned by the city of Danville and 50% the fiscal court. So it's a joint property, and that's the reason I'm here today. Little background: I was hired to do the survey of the property, and along the process of surveying it, I noticed that the deed was for the deed that there's 2 deeds that make up that property from the city and the county, and both of those deeds had significant errors in the courses and distances, which really isn't uncommon for older deeds, but there was a lot of errors in the deeds, and so that basically necessitated me to have to basically turn it from a boundary survey into a minor plat because there was there's an ownership on the northern side. It's James and Wilma Underwood. They have a property up there that they had surveyed, and what happened was when they had their survey done, they had a deed that was just bounded on the north by a railroad tracks, on the south by east-west. There was no real bearings and distances around it. So when they had their property surveyed, they relied on the city and fiscal court's deed to help establish their south line. Well, that south line, I noticed during the survey that there was an error in one of the property lines. It's not a big error, it's just a real small, only like a 70-foot line. It went one direction when it should have gone the other. So in order to resolve this, to prevent future boundary line disputes or anything, if any of the properties change hands, I wanted to get, I suggested a boundary line agreement between the two parties to get this resolved, just to basically make the Underwood's deed correct. Their survey they had, it validates their survey, and since it's such a small little piece of property, we just thought it would be the easiest way just to resolve it that way. So that's basically why I'm here today, is to get your approval and the mayor's signature on there's basically two things. One of them, it's an acknowledgement for the certification of ownership that's on the plats. It's the standard certification, just saying, hey, we're one of the co-owners of the plat, so it would be a signature there. And then the other signature on it is for the boundary line agreement. I've already talked with the Underwoods, and they've signed off on the plat. I believe you may have a copy of the survey in there too. And just for reference, as you look at it, it's the top line over towards the left. There's a little kick out. You can see a little line that looks like it should be a rectangle, but it kind of bends. It's just a little square on that north line. It should be basically a square, but that one little piece is the line that is just skewed over a little bit. So that's what we're trying to just say, that, hey, that's just like get the survey accepted as being the correct one, just to eliminate any future issues. So that's what I'm here for, just to answer any questions about the survey or just get your approval for the signatures required for it.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. So entertain a motion at this time, and then we'll do further discussions.
I move for approval of resolution number 2024-102801.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Other questions or comments? Any comments from our attorney or from the city manager, or? You guys okay? All right. Any commissioner comments?
No.
All right, well, let's move the motion,
Thank
carry the motion forward. All those in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item is planning and zoning, goals and objectives recommendations. Michaela Gary, P&Z Director.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you all. I'm just here to bring the statement of goals and objectives. This is one of the required elements of our 2024 comprehensive plan update that we're currently undergoing. This element is required to be adopted by all 4 legislative bodies, so I'll be bringing it to each one. Part of this process is, before you, I have what the Planning Commission adopted, but each legislative body does have the right to make changes. So if you're unhappy with anything, or if you want specific goals and objectives brought in for the city of Danville, you all do have that right. Of course, I would love to see a joint goals and objectives, but I just want to make you aware of that, if there's any changes that you all want to see, it's well within your purview to do so. But the Planning Commission did recommend adoption for this. We had 2 public meetings on the goals and objectives, so we did receive some public comments as part of the first meeting. I did a brief presentation that I included as part of this packet that I sent over to you. I don't have to go through it, but it's basically just a summary of the public comments that we had received that in the visioning meetings that we had done around this time last year. And then, we received public comments as part of our public hearings that we did in September and October, or actually August and October, I apologize. And so we addressed that feedback, we brought back edits, and then this is what the Planning Commission adopted. I'm not sure if you all want me to read through it, or if you just want to ask questions, or whatever you want.
Well, I think it'd be appropriate for us to ask questions, if any. A comment is that I like the way it's organized, and it's, wasn't, of all the things we had to read this weekend, this was an easy read, so
Oh,
that was pretty
good.
Yeah.
That was the goal. That was what the comp plan committee was really pushing, was trying to streamline it and bring it down so it's more digestible, because our old one was about 7 or 8 pages, and it kind of got lost in the sauce when you're going through it.
But why don't you do us a favor? Why don't you read the 5 goals?
Sure.
Not the understatement, so we get those 5 goals in the record for us.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am.
So goal number 1, create quality neighborhoods. Goal 2, expand housing options. Goal 3, grow a diverse economy. Goal 4, build a healthy community. Goal 5, preserve the community's resources. I apologize, I've got a little bit of a cold going on, so.
That's okay. Thank you, ma'am. Is there a motion from the commission?
I move to accept the recommendation on the planning and zoning goals and objectives.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, questions or comments about the 5 goals and objectives?
Kayla, I think you did a great job, and interestingly enough, when I looked this over, it's just kind of like looking in the mirror of what we've all been trying to do anyway as a city commission and a physical court.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really tried to build them out from the comments that we were receiving from our visioning sessions and kind of that input, and so hopefully it's reflective of that. That was the goal, so.
Do you think we could possibly get this, just a summary sheet on the website for people to see? I think it would be I mean, I like this. This was very easy to read, like they said, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I agree. It'd be great to have on the website. And it's wonderful. It's all on one page.
Yep,
You know, so, I mean, this would be a great poster, so,
yep.
well done, well done.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, the chair would like to call for the question. All those in favor of passing the goals and objectives as presented by the Planning and Zoning Commission, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you,
all.
ma'am.
I don't know if it's appropriate for me to make a quick plug here, because we have some public meetings coming up for the comprehensive plan.
Oh, good.
Is that all right with you, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so Monday, November 4th at 5:30 PM in the training room in City Hall. Thursday, November 7th at 9:30 AM at the Intercounty Community Room. And then Wednesday, November 13th at 5:30 PM in the training room in City Hall. So this is going to be the future land use map discussion. This is usually the one that everyone enjoys talking about. So we'll have some maps printed out. I'll do a brief presentation just explaining what the future land use map is and how we use it. And then just, having discussions with all the community members that show up and taking those comments back, and we'll review them. We did put together the draft future land use map. It's on our website currently, and I'll get it over to Melanie so she can hopefully push it out on the city's website as well. But I just wanted to let you all know when those meetings are, and you all are welcome to attend if you can, so.
I hate to ask you, but could you go over those again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, did I go too fast?
Right.
Yep, all right, I'll go a little slower. Monday, November 4th at 5:30 PM, and that will be at the training room in City Hall, so just in the basement here. And then the second meeting will be Thursday, November 7th at 9:30 AM, and that's at Intercounty in the community room there. And then the third will be Wednesday, November 13th at 5:30 PM, and that's in the training room in City Hall, so in the basement here.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. The next item on our agenda is the second reading of ordinance number 2040 involving 3288 Lebanon Road zone change. Okay,
Mayor and Lee Compton's going to be reading that into the record for us tonight. She's prepared to do so
Absolutely.
and excited about it.
Very excited. This is the second reading of ordinance 2040. an ordinance changing the zone from agricultural to industrial business development for approximately 10.254 acres, more or less, of real property located at 3288 Lebanon Road in the city of Danville, Kentucky.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Stephen, that puts you in third place as far as people who've read those.
I'd be happy to be just in third place, Commissioner, so thank you.
Okay. I guess I'll ask for a motion, then we can discuss.
I'll move to approve the second reading of ordinance 2040.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Now, questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I apologize, Mayor, there is a roll call
Yes,
vote
ma'am.
on this particular
I stopped
ordinance.
myself. Yes, ma'am.
I am unaware of the particular order we are supposed to go in, so we are going to start with Commissioner Cottle,
Yes.
Commissioner Peak,
Yes.
Mayor Atkins,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Saris.
Yes.
Now, notice she got the roll call in as well, guys. Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ooh, next items with an S on them. Resolution 2024-10-2802, Health Department contract renewal, and Mr. Board, you're up.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So yes, in front of you, you have a recommended contract renewal with the Boyle County Health Department. This is a contract that we've had ongoing for several years for various services inclusive of flu shots, Hep A and B shots, Tdap shots, and TB screen testing. Good partnership. It helps us with continuing with our wellness program. So staff's just recommending renewal of the health department contract for the rest of this fiscal year. I do apologize, and I actually apologize to Brent. We should have brought this to you back in August, but it got overlooked, so we're bringing it to you now for the rest of the year. Approximate cost of those services, we estimate is about $3,000 annually, but we did put that in, each year into the fiscal year 25 budget as well, so no amendment to the budget. And so we're just asking for approval to renew the contract with the Boyle County Health Department.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-10-2802.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments?
It's just something I wonder how much that would cost. It costs us $3,000. I wonder if we had to do it privately, what our benefit is. I'd say it's pretty substantial.
Well, the flu shots, actually, part of that, those go through our health plan because they're preventative, but we get those labor services through the health department. That part actually gets billed out. Can't really answer that question. We haven't really put it out.
I was just curious. No,
Yeah,
it's a good deal, I think.
I think so too, and it helps especially with water utilities. That's part of the requirements with their hepatitis shots. And it's also, again, it helps us try to lower our healthcare costs, which we have our next fair with the health department coming up on November the 8th for flu shots and biometrics, which, again, we're encouraging everyone, all staff to participate in that as well. But to answer your question, I don't know, but I don't think it would probably get any cheaper than what we're getting now.
No.
Other questions or comments? Oh, well, okay. Do we have a motion? Yep. We do? So I'll call, let me call for the question then. All those in favor of Resolution 2024, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you all.
I like the sheer joy that Lee has tonight. You're
It's very
having too much
stressful.
fun.
She says, hey, I'll trade seats with you, come on.
Okay.
Okay, next item is resolution, I'm sorry, municipal order, number 10, 2801-2024. Mr. Board, you have that one also,
All right, thank you, Mayor. So this is to follow up on our conversation in our last meeting where staff presented policy revisions to the personnel policies. I think in your packet you were presented these policies. There is quite extensive. We tried to provide you a simple top-line summary, table of contents, because and this is a culmination of about a 12-month project between HR and Sturgill Turner. And so there's a lot here. We talked about at the last meeting.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to kind of review a lot of this because it is good nap reading material. So, but we can go ahead and, answer any questions you have or any particulars on any policy, and we can start the conversation from there.
It wasn't good NEP reading material. It put us all the way.
Put it all to sleep.
But it was good. I liked the way you put the summary together, but it's a lot of changes, but a lot of positive changes though.
Yeah, and I probably should just clarify, our goal is to continue to, like I said, make sure the policies will continuously stay fluid with making sure we're compliant with the regulatory environment, but also making sure we're still balancing the needs of the workforce, which is ever changing. And so that's really what the motivation and goal behind this project was, is because we've talked a lot of things with different things like medical cannabis, the salary threshold changes coming. There's a lot of regulatory things that are coming into play this year as well in January. And so we were trying to get in front of it as early as we can. And
Well, you did a great job of matching up our policies with the KRS information, and Kevin Collar had a field day. He took his time this weekend, look up all those KRS numbers, right?
I illustrated it.
I bet you did.
they're easy reads, I'll say that, right? The KRS statutes are.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Is there a motion on municipal order 102801?
Move for approval of municipal order 102801, 2024.
Thank you, sir.
Second?
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, say aye.
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 And Mr. Board, I think, I hope staff will benefit, appreciate all the work that you and your office have done to get these things updated, because it was quite a task. But it's
And I'll
good.
say there's a lot still to look at, so just because we're presenting this now, it doesn't mean we may not have more discussion points coming forward. So we'll continue to stay on top of these policy changes as they need to be made.
We appreciate that.
All right.
You have the next one, Resolution 2024-102803.
All right, thank you. So this is a recommendation to amend the fiscal year 25 authorized positions list, which really goes in conjunction with the next item too, the amendment to our compensation plan. We're requesting a need to add an additional headcount to the utility fund based on conversations that Marshall had brought forward the last meeting for reorganization needs. So with that, we would be recommending going from 176 authorized positions to 177 in the current fiscal year. We've looked at the cost component within the utility fund, which we'll talk about more next on the compensation recommendation. But there wouldn't be any additional labor costs because this would be offset by some vacant positions that we could reallocate those funds for, and that along with some retirements that we've experienced in water utilities. So just want to clarify that it wouldn't be an additional labor cost, so there wouldn't be a requirement to do a budget amendment within the utility fund.
Great. Thank you, sir.
If I may too, I want to add to the discussion a little bit, strictly because Randy and I did again have another conversation with, for example, the fire department today. The need to overhire, we're trying to figure out how to deal with that over time. When we know so we prefer the authorized positions. We know that's required in those things. And so, but we understand too that when we're trying to hire someone, if you have two positions, two equally calibered folks that are equally certified, sometimes, and we know we're going to have a retirement in the next 8 months or 9 months, sometimes it may make sense to overhire. With the pressure that we're getting at the top for retirements, we feel that more and more, almost in every condition. So for example, do we hire another Class 4 operator? Do we hire another firefighter? Do we hire another police officer? We're still trying to navigate that and figure out what that means especially when we know or we can reasonably anticipate someone retiring. Just want to make sure we verbalize that to you all and let you know that we're still trying to figure out how to handle that. on a consistent, regular cycle, because sometimes that's confused. And sometimes
Yeah.
people, when we pop up mid-budget cycle and say, hey, we would like to do an overhire, well, there's a reason, and we've talked about it a lot. And you guys are aware of it generally, because we've discussed it during the budget process. But for the folks in the audience, they don't always get both ends of that discussion. And so we will continue to look for those opportunities and continue to be aware of it and continue to talk about overhiring. If we can figure out a good way to program it into our plans, we will.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we're still operating on the basis where, hey, look, we've got this good hire. Do you want to overhire now or wait 6 months?
Well, appreciate that
Yep.
explanation. And I think the thing we ought to compliment you guys on is that you keep bringing these to us, and you're finding ways to finance them, to pay for them within the current budget. We know that's not going to always be the case, but when you do that, you ought to be commended for that, because that's really important that we go from 176 to 177 full-time positions, and that's really not impacting the budget in a negative way, so that's great. We need a motion, though, don't we?
Yes.
To authorize this extra position. So is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 2024-102803.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Other questions or comments?
No, I think doing a good job of explaining that, Earl, and I guess, one of the things that ease your pain is if we kind of consider that in budget years,
Yes.
extra money.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we talked about this morning is, do we just look, then are you just adding a position? I mean, what do we, you know what I mean? That would be the discussion point on that. If we're funding it, then why not go ahead and hire it to begin with, right? And so we're not necessarily advocating for a bunch of extra people, but at the same time, when we know we're going to lose one, I'd rather have an opportunity to add someone 6 months in advance and train with experienced people. There's an advantage to that too. So to your point, we'll continue to talk about it.
And this was what was presented at the last meeting, so for the audience, they know we heard it at the last meeting,
Yes, ma'am.
the explanation from Marshall.
And I think we talked about this probably maybe midsummer. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the attrition report that we gave, like we have 32% of our workforce that's can potentially retire this year and next year. So we know that's a risk for the city. So that drives some of these conversations too, just for the public's benefit.
Thank you. Any other comments before I carry the motion? All those in favor of 2024-102803, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Next item is first reading of ordinance 2042. I guess, Ms. Compton, you're going to read that to us? Or is Mr. Dexter going to read it?
I will read that for you. It's the first reading of ordinance 2042, an ordinance amending CDO 2-96 pertaining to the classification plan, compensation plan, and policies and procedures for city personnel.
Thank you, ma'am. I was going to ask her to read that again, but, okay. I guess I'll ask for a motion.
I move for approval of,
We also do a roll call vote on this as well.
Yes, ma'am. We got to get a motion first, though.
wait, yeah.
Correct, you're right.
It's okay. We're gonna-
Yeah,
We're going to help
good.
each other. Don't
Uh-huh.
worry.
I make a motion to approve
I don't
the first reading of ordinance 2042.
Yes, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any discussion, questions, comments? Now, roll call vote.
Commissioner Peak,
Yes.
Mayor Atkins.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Saras,
Yes.
Commissioner Cottle.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Next item is the second reading of ordinance 2041, codes supplement.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2041, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Danville, Kentucky.
Thank you, ma'am. Felt real calm that time, didn't you? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2041.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, thank you, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, we're in the same jersey, I guess.
No, I've been making them all. Comments or questions about ordinance 2041? Any comments or questions? Okay, well, Madam Clerk?
We will have a roll call vote. Mayor
Yes, ma'am.
Atkins.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holland.
Yes.
Commissioner Saris.
Yes.
Commissioner Cottle.
Yes.
Commissioner Peak.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Your mind asks you, you got to do it 3 or 4 times tonight, right?
I'm going to send her an invoice.
You did good. Thank you, ma'am. Next item is Resolution 2024-10-2804, IT surplus.
So in your packet, you have a list of items from the IT department for surplusing. We will be surplusing using Gov Deals, which has historically been very successful with our IT equipment.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
I move for approval of Resolution 2024-10-2804.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments?
There's some quality items in there. None of them work. that I can tell.
Yeah.
None of them work?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're not getting in line to buy any then, okay, all right.
I guess I use them for parts.
Other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of Resolution 2024-10-2804, say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Good job. Now we're down to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. We did a printed version of this and didn't make it into your digital packet. You should have it on your desk, right? October 31st is Halloween. We are debating a potential weather impact for that. The percentage of rain, I just then checked, it was getting below 50% on Thursday. So as of right now, we're going to trend towards keeping it as Thursday night because Friday night's not good, Wednesday night's not good. The alternative would be Saturday. We would try to bump it a little bit later, a little bit earlier to allow folks to be finished before the football game that night that some folks had some comments on, the UK football game that evening. And so we will continue to watch the weather and we'll make an announcement in the morning before noon if it's going to shift. We'll go ahead and make a decision. If the percentage stays lower than 50%, we'll probably just keep it Thursday night because that's what folks are anticipating. November 5th is Election Day. We got Veterans Day. City Hall's closed on the 11th. The next commission meeting will be the 12th, 5:30, which will be a Tuesday night. The gallery hop is from 4:30 to 7:30 on the 14th. The 25th is the following commission meeting, which leads us into Thanksgiving on the 28th. And now for the Christmas things, the 29th will be the tree lighting at 6:30 p.m. that Friday night. And then Danville Small Town Christmas is scheduled for December the 7th with a festival starting at noon. We'll go to 5 p.m. And the Christmas parade, I believe, is at 6 p.m. or 6:30, but we'll confirm that too between now and then. Reserving it at 6 will certainly work for you. You'll be early. The audit, we're continuing to work on that. I appreciate Lee's effort in trying to nudge that forward. The fall season has slowed that. There is a draft. They're working on detailing that. They had a couple more questions for her last week where I think we've answered all of those as far as I know. And so we are just waiting on their in-house review of their draft. Hopefully that then they can publish that to us soon. Leaf collection is scheduled, is on our website. The opening collection will begin 11/4. The regular schedule will be beginning on 11/12. The paving will start in downtown this week. Josh wanted me to make sure, or not in downtown, but the city's paving list will start Thursday of this week. I wanted to make sure we fired that warning shot. And then wanted to see if you all had any other questions for the short term. Pretty light. right now, getting ready for the season.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments?
Oh, and the budget report. We did include the budget report in your packet. I did want to verbalize that. For the general fund, the revenues so far this year, we are 25% in the year. When you look at this report as of 9/30, our revenue is tricking along normal. It's about 23.8%, which the first quarter tends to be just a little bit under.
And that does skew in total percentage because of the schedules of some of our revenue.
Correct. Then the expenses is trending 25.29%, which is very good. And I think if you dive deeper into the report, we won't try to read all 16 pages or spend a lot of time on that unless you all just want to. Or make sure if y'all have any questions, we'll dive into whichever question you want. But the other departments, everybody's trending real well right now. And so we'll just see how that plays out as we get into the next quarter.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And Lee, thank you for putting the budget in prior to the weekend. So that gave us a lot of time to really kind of go over it. So thank you.
Other comments about or questions for the city manager? I thought she said yeah. You got a question? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Now we arrive at hear the public for the second time in our meeting. And at this time, we hear the public to discuss things with us that are not on our agenda. Just hold on. Is there anyone desiring to do that? Yes, ma'am. You want to raise your hand, come up to the podium, identify yourself. Identify yourself?
Yes. Mayor and city commissioners, city staff, citizens of Danville. My name is Bridget Lester. I'm a hospice volunteer. And I wanted to personally invite you to our Tea and Treasure event that is going to be on November 16th at 1 o'clock at Centenary Methodist Church. It's out on Parable Road. The doors open at noon. Tickets are $35 and can be purchased at the hospice office, which is 120 Enterprise Drive. We have lots of treasure items for the live and silent auctions and the delicious Christmas tea by Elmwood Inn and other goodies to eat. Our fundraising is aimed at supporting the hospice services in the community to help us cover things that Medicaid and Medicare doesn't cover for patients. It also allows us to pay for some medicines that a patient needs that isn't covered, to fulfill a wish by a patient to go fishing for the last time, to work with a patient to get her Kentucky Colonel Commission back that got lost when she was moving to her senior living, and she got to do a Zoom meeting with the governor. Wow. And many other things that are needed. We raise money for a service that everyone could need any given year. We don't like to think about that, but it's a community asset that we all will be personally thankful for in our lives should we need it. I'm so very thankful for them and to them for all they did for my dad before he passed and for how they have helped me since he passed. We are very fortunate to have our Heritage Hospice, which covers Boyle, Garrett, Lincoln, and Mercer counties. It was started by Margaret Caldwell in 1978 from the difficult journey she experienced when her son developed cancer and died. She determined that no other family should feel the lack of support she experienced during her son's illness and death. Now they don't have to because we have a treasure in having this organization in our community. So we would love to see you all at our event, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, or you can contact us at 859-236-2425 via our website or social media. And it's great to see you all.
Well, don't leave the podium, though. We got something for you, too, though.
Yes.
Anybody any questions about Heritage Hospice?
But here, I have some more flyers if anyone in the audience needs them. We'd love to have you all there.
I agree with her about the service that they do.
Yeah.
My dad was ill as well. It's a blessing.
And we have a lot of volunteers, and that's a key, that help a lot with so many different things, whether it's patient care, working in the office, all kinds of things. So come out and volunteer with us sometime, too. We'd love to have you. Yes, Mayor.
Well, we're ready for your next report now.
I don't have any other
You don't have a
report.
codes?
No, I don't
Oh,
have that
man.
anymore. Somebody else has that.
Thought you do a codes enforcement update for us. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Nice to see you all.
All right, you too now. Okay, Miss Elisa Jones sent a letter to the mayor some time ago. And like the mayor always does, he listens to folks, but he never makes any commitments or promises. So I invited her to come and share her concerns with all of the commission tonight, and she has taken me up on that. So introduce yourself to us.
I'm Melissa Jones. This is actually my first time being here. I'm kind of nervous.
It's all right, and how old
Don't
are
worry
you?
about it.
I'm only 12 years old.
Don't say only, you're what?
Okay, I am 12
12 years old, and you go to school.
I go to Boyle County Middle School.
All right, and you brought your younger brother, which is your bodyguard, right?
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about your concern.
So I wrote a letter to Mayor Atkins about like the modifications to Main Street. And I was explaining how the decrease of size in the roads and then the smaller lamps we added onto the sidewalks. I was talking about how it's harder for larger vehicles to maneuver through the smaller roads, such as buses and some larger vehicles and semis. And I also included about the lights that were put in. I think they're like little lamps.
That's right.
Those were making it a little bit harder for certain people to drive around and not get distracted and drive off. I've actually heard from a couple of people I've actually talked to. They've mentioned some of these concerns to me, and I've thought that in way to help with the light situation, which also could go in with the larger roads, we could take a little bit more out to allow the brightness to not distract it.
That's right.
Allow the brightness from the lights not to distract drivers as they're driving. And you can push them back a little bit from the road, so it also takes away that light. And maybe decrease the size just a little bit so it allows the larger vehicles to maneuver without having without being able to kind of tip a little bit to the side.
Okay.
Like
Alright.
I've had people, one of the ladies that who drives my bus in the mornings, we take through Main Street and to get to school, and so she had a field trip that was at the Boyle County Library. She said when she was going through to go to the library and went through Main Street, she had to make a very sharp turn and almost was tipping over the bus. And she told me, and I brought that as a concern to talk about how the decrease of the size of the road has affected the larger vehicles.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Don't go anywhere, stay right there now. Now, my purpose of having you come to present to us, in your letter, you had a very limited amount of space to communicate your concerns. You've done a great job tonight, okay? Absolutely. And your mom back there and your little brother both got their chest stuck out. They're very proud of you, like we are too. Introduce your mom to us.
Well, her name is Leslie Jones.
Yeah,
She actually works at the deaf school here in Danville.
yes.
She's the secretary of the elementary school.
And she met the mayor when the mayor met her when she was 12 years old. Just
You
in-
were her principal and neighbor, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
yes, you lived in Dexter Court.
Scary.
Oh, you said
It is.
We listen at these kind of presentations. We don't do really make any promises, but you see that guy with that purple shirt on? He's the city manager, so then he has first-hand knowledge about your presentation. Okay?
Uh-oh.
So I will give you a little token, a small key to the city, and tell you thanks for following through with your concerns, because this is what city government's all about, is having young folks, including you, come to our meetings and share concerns with us in a polite, professional fashion, just like what you just did. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I taught your mom with social studies, civics, right?
I don't know what class she just told me.
Oh,
She probably didn't want to make you seem too scared, so I want to get so scared.
Yeah, you did.
thank you now. All right. Oh, and if you don't think anything gets done about any of your concerns, don't send your letter back to the mayor. Send your letter to the city manager next time.
Keep that in mind.
All right, thank you.
We'll give you his home address.
Anyone else to hear, to speak to the commission? Okay, well, if not, let's, Mr. Hunt?
Mr. Hun, is he coming?
Oh, okay. All right, let's go to commissioner comments then, all right? Any,
I just had a couple of comments. Today is like National First Responder Appreciation Day, so I want to say for myself, I appreciate all the first responders that we have in Danville and all the surrounding areas and all that they do to make us all safe. So I do appreciate them. And then also, don't forget the Veterans Dinner at the Armory on the 8th from 11 to 2. And I think they're asking for volunteers if anybody can volunteer.
that's at the Armory?
It's at the Armory.
Okay. Yeah. And if you don't want to, if you do want to volunteer, just show up. There'll be plenty of people that need to be served and a lot of good work to go on. So thank you. Other commissioner comments? I have some, but I don't want to be last. I want somebody to get their camera ready because we want to get a good picture of us with our team uniforms on.
Do you want to be last to your comments, or you want to go ahead? Because I'll make some.
Oh, you go ahead.
It's very appropriate that we did Extra Mile Day today because it typifies what happens in this city. Last Saturday was Pints for Pets. Those folks always do a good job of organizing, getting people out, utilizing our Wisger Park and raising money for the Humane Society. Coming up, of course, and that was in the city manager's report, was the Christmas parade and tree lighting and so forth. A lot of that stuff is not done by us. We back it up, but it's by volunteer. And so Extra Mile Day is us.
Yes. Other comments?
And just looking at the CVB folks, thank you for the Pumpkins in the Park Joint Festival. It was great. I think all of us were there. And community really appreciated that, especially the kids. And the mayor.
That's right, I appreciate it. That's right. It was great, great turnout, and it's amazing how the mayor keeps ordering all this excellent weather for all these little get-togethers we have outdoors. So when it rains and all that kind of stuff, I don't have anything to do with it, but when it's good weather, I won't take all the credit for it, right? Just kidding. Other comments? Well, I want to do several presentations tonight on behalf of the Kentucky League of Cities. Our Commissioner Jeanette Holland, professional name, has reached level 2 training, excellence in city government. And then our city manager, Earl Coffey, and our senior city commissioner, Mr. Kevin Cottle, has reached level 3, master of city governance. So you have a highly trained city commission. And then city commissioner, Rick Series has reached level 3, master of city governance.
Yep.
Now, Donna Peake and I have been doing this so long, we've gone past the masters level. They're trying to create a new level of training for some of us.
Kryptonite.
Mr. Bridget knows what I'm talking about. You all want to come down, I'll present these certificates, and it's an opportunity for everybody to get a picture of us in our uniforms, and I want you all to pay close attention to the commissioner's feet. Come on, Mr. Coffey. These are our Halloween outfits. These are what we're going on. Trying to get us the best thing we Halloween.
I got only 15.
All right, thank you all. The Heisman pose, yeah. No, we wanted to show some team spirit, camaraderie, or whatever it might be. That's why we have our, these uniforms on, because we are a team, and we have been a united team for almost 2 years. Although some of us been here a long time, not just 2 years, but.
Keep looking at
Okay.
me.
Any other commissioner comments? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and end this meeting real quick. Oh, continue the agenda, right? Next item on the agenda is payment of the bills. The chair would like to entertain a motion to pay our bills as presented.
I'll move to approve the bill list in amount of $540,181.18.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments?
I did have a question. I think I asked Lee about it. Trying to find it in here.
To the,
It's to Bull Land Trust, and it's for electric bills from January of 2019 to September of 2022 for $34,000.
That was from the time that we had closed on the property before the electric was switched over. It was quite a bit of time into the city's name, so we're reimbursing them. It's taken a little bit of time because we wanted to see the invoices and things like that. So it should have been done probably 6 months ago, and I think we're just now getting it where it's processed.
So it's
But that is for the electric bills while the city owned the property, that the Bull Land Trust continued to make those payments.
Okay.
It's for like 3 years' worth of electric. It's
Right.
not
No, it's 3 years.
6 months,
And
yeah.
for clarification, Boyle Land Trust on the fairgrounds property, which
That
is
is
the property
correct,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
Which so the brown buildings,
The
all
whole
the electric
fairgrounds,
there, out there.
all the original electric on the property
Okay,
was paid through those bills.
okay.
Yep.
any other questions or comments? Hearing none, the chair would call the motion. All those in favor of paying the bills as presented, say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you all. Mr. Carrier, you have the next two items, Resolution 2024-10-2805, Chemical Bid Award. Oh, man.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mayor.
sir.
This is our annual chemical bid. We do this, done this now for the past 3 years through a company called eBridge. It's an online processing website where vendors are subscribed to their database, and anytime chemicals come up for bid from a municipality or something of that nature, they're notified of it, notified of the window of opportunity to get into the bid session. And it's called a reverse auction. Some of y'all may understand what that means, but essentially it provides multiple opportunities for those vendors to make bids, but they're sitting there looking at a computer screen, right? So they don't know what the other competitors' bids are. They know what their low bid's gonna be, but they're just ranked 1 through 3, 4, 5, or whatever. So the initial window opens for like 15 minutes, and then the bidding starts, then your rank goes up and down based on the bids that you're putting in the whole time. And then if, say, for example, somebody wanted to come in and make a bid at the last second, with like 3 seconds left, it automatically restarts and adds 3 more minutes to the clock. So it's a great way to provide a bidding scenario that's inclusive, but yet the competitors don't know what anybody's bid is, still private bids. So we've done this for the past 3 years, and Lee put a memo together that shows the prices comparatively from fiscal year '23 to '25. And then it's got a list of the bids there and the fiscal '25 bids that we settled on. And we request the commission to approve the low bid vendors.
And just my comment, several of them did receive lower prices than last fiscal year, which is similar to the rock salt bid that we did the same way, which is, I think, an indication of inflation slowing down compared to where it was last year.
Yeah, that was impressive. Trainees entertain a motion to
I move for approval of Resolution 2024-10-2605.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Other questions or comments?
And there were 67 bids, it looks like. That's a lot of bids.
So it's not necessarily
just-
67 different
Okay.
entities, but on certain chemicals of, say, if it was, like this, the first page is the first chemical.
Okay.
So between those three vendors, there were 67 bids between those three vendors.
Okay.
And that, the first place winner of that bid turned over between those vendors 38 different times. So they don't, they know what price they are submitting. They do not know the price the lowest bid is submitting. So sometimes it gets very fun. So next year, if you're available, come watch, because it is open to the public. Very interesting. And then some of them have less activity. For instance, one of our chemicals, we only have one vendor on, so that's the price we get. It's just not a commonly sold chemical.
Thank you, ma'am. Other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Before we deal with the last item, I had something else under Commissioner comments I wanted to call to our attention. And that involves our own Chief Gray. He's been recognized Saturday. Chief Gray, is it this Saturday? Outstanding Danville High School Graduates Program? What's the date for that program? December the 7th. That's parade night. Oh, okay, so December, why did I think? So this Saturday is the performing arts recognitions? Okay, all right, then. Sorry about that. But Chief Gray's been recognized an outstanding graduate of Danville High School, and it's the 7th of December, he said.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Very good.
yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go to the last item then. The last item is Resolution 2024-10-2806, 11 Road Clark's Run scope change.
Thank you, Mayor. This being an EDA project, there's certain steps you have to go through if you're going to change the scope of the project. So this is a scope change for the Lebanon Road Clark's Run Trunk Sewer Improvements Project to address the lower end Phase 2, which is the eastern end of the project corridor, east of 3rd and 4th Street, from 2nd Street to Woods Drive Lagoon. The Phase 2 project is funded in part by a grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration, EDA. This scope change includes bypassing the existing lagoon at the end of Woods Drive and connect to the existing 27-inch trunk sewer line along Clark's Run and negate environmental impacts to an old City of Danville landfill in the area. So there's a landfill there just below, the old landfill there just below Woods Drive. So originally we had the corridor going along Clark's Run, but we didn't want to get into an environmental impact with the old landfill, obviously. So we're going up above and along Woods Drive, then coming in the top side and down. There's a map in there for reference also. And then with this, there's a scope confirmation letter, which I drafted for the mayor to sign, and then an applicant certification clause. It's essentially an EDA checklist from an environmental standpoint that's also in here that needs your signature also. And right now, there's not a change in the opinion of probable cost is what it's called. We're not going to change that with the EDA at this time because any cost savings that we may see with this change proposal right here, we may look to reinvest it in the same project at the end of the day, so with some other improvements. So we'll wait and do that assessment later.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I move to accept Resolution 2024-10-2806.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions to Marshall, Mr. Carrier? Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of resolution 2014-2806 be passed, they'll say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution carries. Yeah, it's been 14 years, guys. This is the first or second time in 14 years that I can ask for a motion to adjourn without an executive session. Now, look at that drop for the mouth. That's right.
Don't tempt him, he'll come up with something.
Is there, oh, wait. I'd like to move to adjourn the meeting with no executive session. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bridget, you did.